Hey, what's up, guys? It's Foster from English no Cru. So, just really fast before we get started today, I have two things I want to tell you about. First, Alexia is coming to the United States this week, technically next week. Obviously, I am super happy about this, and you should be too, because when Alexia and I are together physically, that just means that we will have a lot more podcasts. Everything will have higher quality, and just everything is better in general when Alexia is around. So while she is preparing for her trip, I decided to call one of my good friends to come on the show. Tony Marsh is the founder of langmatrix.com, and he is really one of the most interesting voices in the field of linguistics, and just the way he thinks about language is really, really cool. So I decided to bring Tony on the show to help me with some of our Ask Me Anything questions from Sound School. So for those of you who don't know, Sound School is our pronunciation and conversation masterclass, where Alexia and I work personally with all of our students. And it's really awesome. It's definitely the coolest thing we do. But anyway, we have a section in Sound School called Ask Me Anything, where our students can literally ask us any questions they have about English, pronunciation, travel, whatever. So if you want to participate in Sound School, if you're really serious about improving your English, you can start working personally with me and Alexia, starting for just 39 reais per month. That's like the cost of dinner at a restaurant, at least in Rio de Janeiro or São Paulo. Okay, so anyway, after a quick word from our sponsors, we'll get started with the show. Thanks, guys. This episode of English no Cru Rádio is brought to you by our friends at Cambly. Cambly is one of the coolest, if not the coolest, online platform to have real conversations with real professional native teachers whenever, wherever you want. Seriously, Cambly is an incredible service, and on top of that, they are just really, really great people, and our students are having a lot of fun and success with Cambly. And the best thing is, you can try Cambly today for free. Yes, 100% for free. No credit card information or anything like that. Simply go to Cambly.com or download the Cambly app on your phone and use the promotional code Inglês no Cru Podcast to get your first class for free. Again, go to Cambly.com or download the app and use the promo code Inglês no Cru Podcast to get your first class with a professional native speaker today. Okay, let's get on with the show. So, Tony, let's do one. I know we both have hard stops here in a minute. So, just because all our listeners, or at least almost all our listeners, are Brazilian, let's give them a little bit of fodder. So, Tony, I know you've traveled a lot and that you have traveled, not sure everywhere you've been in Brazil, but I know you traveled through Brazil. What's something that draws you or attracts you to Brazil or to Portuguese, and maybe a favorite place that you have in Brazil or
Cool.
city?
I have been to Salvador when I was a little kid. We had a foreign exchange student from Salvador, named Ana Paula, and she's been a long-time friend of my family's, and I've gone and visited her in Salvador. And then I was in Rio for that documentary with Connor, where we went and learned some Portuguese.
Ah, yeah, I just watched it last week. Yeah, it was good.
So yeah, love both of those places. What attracts me to Brazil? I mean, I could probably, the list can probably go on and on. What attracts me to Portuguese? This is an answer that I like to give often, which is so as a sort of language nerd and language file, right? I find that the texture of Portuguese is super cool, and I find that the texture of Portuguese and the sort of shape that it makes, sort of synesthetically, is awesome. A lot of languages are too. I love Spanish as well, but Portuguese has a little special something. And the way that I like to illustrate that is this: if you consider the word song in Spanish, it's canción.
Yeah.
And for me, that has an angular. It goes up and then down. Canción. It's like maybe a little bit of wiggle for the yo, like the diphthong, but it's mainly angular, right? The plural canciones is also made of straight lines for me. It goes canciones.
Yeah.
Portuguese is very curvy, right? Instead of canción, canção, like it's got this curve.
Yeah.
And then when we go into the plural of canção, which we all know is canções, we get a complete loop-de-loop. Complete flip.
It's the technical term. There's a loop-de-loop after in the plural form.
So imagine a language made up of loop-de-loops.
Yeah. I think
cool.
that's a cool way to put like the beauty of Portuguese, because we both speak Spanish, and I've never thought about it being like a more angular geometric, but it's definitely more like, you can start going up and down, but there always seems to be a structure to like the intonation a little bit.
Right.
Whereas in Brazilian Portuguese, it's just like a dance and you're just along for the ride.
Yes. And consider the way that canción is written and how canção and especially canções is written. We get a tilde over the what? Over the E or the O, right?
The O.
The O. And then we get a cedilla under the C. That little cedilla, it's like a beard. And then the tilde is kind of like this, like basically the word itself looks like it's in like this sort of like carnival costume. Looks like it's doing like a samba thing. It's like just visually, it looks like it's dressed up.
Yeah, man. You never fail to give me new illustrations and mental visualizations to think about these things.
Good.
It's awesome.
Good.
Cool. So Tony, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but you are always more than welcome and much appreciated.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I always have a good time.
Anything you want to give to our listeners in way of where to find you, free resources you have? I know you're full of them.
My website's langmatrix.com. That's LANGMATRIX, langmatrix.com.
Has that changed from TonyMarshMethod.com?
Yeah, I've sort of narrowed my focus into the matrix concept. I mean, it's always been that, but instead of it just being Tony Marsh Method, what is that? I'm focusing on the language matrix. We create conversation through structure. So yeah, it's that's the angle I've been going with lately. So it's Lang Matrix, and there's videos on there. There's free stuff. You can sign up for some free PDFs. I got a phrasal verbs book, which can be useful.
Yeah, absolutely. And I highly recommend people checking this out because Tony has a weird ability to make very complex concepts extremely simple. So it doesn't matter if you're a super advanced language learner or you're just starting. I think all of your resources and just everything around you kind of shakes things up the way that you will approach languages in a really positive way.
Thank you. My Skype, and I'm gonna go here. My Skype is Tony Marsh Method, and I have an open door type policy. I like to hear people reach out and say hi, so I'll just throw that out there as well.
Awesome, it's done. That means people have no excuses. You're putting them on the line.
Yeah, man.
Cool. So Tony, thanks again for being
Thank you.
Open and always just dropping knowledge, man.
It's totally my pleasure, Foster. Thank you.
Sweet. Well, I will talk to you soon. See you, Tony.
See you, man.
Hey guys, thanks so much for listening to another episode of Inglês no Rádio. If you like what we do, if you want to support the show, here's what you can do. Leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Android, wherever you listen to the podcast. It really helps other people discover the show. And you can sign up for our VIP newsletter. So each time we release new courses, early discounts for Sound School, new worksheets, special discounts, the people on our newsletter are the first to know. So if you are interested in the things we are doing, go to inglesnuecru.com and sign up. And as always, keep up the good fight and lose well. Até já.